Have you been good? Don't answer that because I do not care. I'm back. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Minion J and I work on behalf of the Disgruntled Octopus. And there's a good chance you probably already know who that is. If not, probably go back to the start of the video. Needless to say, the octopus is back in the Octolair. He's back from his sabbatical. I think he went looking for Grumpy Granny, which is also another YouTuber that he used to do a podcast with. Unfortunately, hasn't had much luck in that endeavor. It's been a little bit awkward in the Octolair, getting back to the swing of things, as you can probably see from here. So needless to say, the octopus is still on his world domination aspirations. He hasn't gone very well in regards to that, because obviously we had an election here in Australia yesterday, and our new Prime Minister isn't the Disgruntled Octopus, which is probably not a bad thing. So a little bit about the channel. So the Octopus has come back with these massive, massive ideas of what he wants to do to take the channel. I don't know. So it is going to change up. So this is more of a rebranding for the Disgruntled Octopus channel. I will talk a little bit about this. The Octopus will probably come in a little bit later and give you his 2 cents worth, which you probably don't want to do. So long story short, I think I've said in numerous videos before, been recently diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, depends what flavour of the day you're on and what flavour of the week you're on. It is interchangeable, and it is attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, whatever it is. Not an expert in any capacity. Long story short is what I have realized over a very, very long time of dealing with resellers, dealing sounds a bit bad, or engaging with resellers and watching other reseller content, it's probably a little bit more prevalent than, than people want to believe or care to believe. So neurodivergence is something that I'm trying to cope with, trying to learn on a daily basis, and I do want to bring that kind of content into the channel as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to start spruiking tinfoil hat conspiracy theories at you, or spruiking this person's neurodivergent, this person isn't neurodivergent, Tory. But what I want to do is actually probably build it and evolve it, the content of the channel to encapsulate that, I suppose, that segment of the reselling community, which to be brutally honest, it's quite heavy. So what we are looking at doing, so the Octopus is going to be in more videos in the future. We will be doing a podcast, which is called The Grilled Octopus, I think it is. And it's pretty much very similar, back to roots for the Octopus, what we used to do with Grumpy Granny. Hello and welcome back to the episode 4,322 for the worst reselling podcast ever. And hello, Granny, how are you? We're a bit pizza day. And Octo, as she loved to call him, we don't know if Grumpy Granny's dead, but we're just going to pretend she is. Until we hear otherwise, we're just going to say Grumpy Granny is passed on. We do have a Ouija board inside, so fingers crossed we can actually get in touch with her and see if she gives the blessing for the channel. But no, I have spoken to her in the last week or so. She is perfectly fine. Don't leave your hate comments. Don't leave your dislikes. It is part and parcel of our relationship. So we're going to do a Grilled Octopus podcast in the sense where we're going to get people to come on very similar vein to the worst reselling podcast ever, where the Octopus has a chat one-on-one to another person. It might be a reseller, might not be a reseller, might be a bit different. We're going to branch out in that respect. And needless to say, they're going to probably have a very, very, very hard time, because the only person that could wrangle the Octopus in was Grumpy Granny. So we're going to see if people can actually manage that and do all those a little bit and see how they handle under full fire of the Octopus, giving a full blast. Second, we're going to incorporate a tutorial-based video once a week, and it's going to be called Tangled Tentacles. Most likely be on a Tuesday, but we will get to that. And this is going to be very short and sharp and straight to the point, concise, which is not obviously a token feature of this channel. I just bought a backpack. And enough of the side journeys. So the Tangled Tentacles on a Tuesday will be a tutorial video aimed at streamlining things in eBay. I'm not going to teach people how to make boxes. I'm not going to teach people how to list things. Maybe that will be further down the track, but it will be targeted at people, probably neurodivergent people, to give them shortcuts, to give them kind of some sort of rhythm or repetition, in the sense that what I have found that works for me is something like Chrome little bookmark. So in the sense that if I want to do something, I click on a bookmark and it brings it straight up. A little bit of a side quest story before we wrap up that little bit of a segment is that when people from overseas reach out and ask me about combined shipping for these guys, I constantly am fighting with Australia Post with the preset trying to send me to my business. And what I have done is I've actually created a little bookmark bar which takes me directly to Australia Post for the international shipping. So it's kind of one of those things where we will talk about setting up your, I suppose, bookmarks in Chrome. A lot of people will already know how to do this, but it's more of a case of just trying to teach people a little bit of tips and tricks and all those different things. And finally, I think he's going to release a third video a week, in the sense that it might be a live, it might be a rant video, it may just be a video that's with me if I get stuck with doing it. Doing more of a conversationalist piece, very similar to what Back from Burnout does, very similar to what Geelong Flipper does, very similar to what we've done previously in the channel as well. But the onus will be a two-way conversation, opposed to actually like reselling. It's more of a relationship building, talking about how my week's been, how your week's been, what I've found over the last week in a plethora of different ways. So it will be sprinkled with, you know, reselling content, but there will also be that community engagement, also that relationship building between us and you as the as the watchers or the audience. And we will talk about that. But that, like I said, that video will probably mix up. It may be a rant video from the octopus. Obviously, something's been in his bonnet, and there is something that's in his bonnet at the moment regarding a paid YouTube course, which is out there in Australia at the moment. I'd never think I'd see the day where, you know, someone was trying to capitalize on people trying to learn. Sorry, not a paid YouTube course, a paid eBay course. And I thought I'd never see the day where someone was trying to capitalize on people, trying to teach them how to sell on eBay. But here we are. That might be the rant video for next week. But what I'm saying is that we are doing a little bit of a rebrand, in the sense that we will still talk about reselling to a component. We will be looking at probably neurodivergence in the sense of autism, ADHD, ADD, and whatever else falls under that umbrella. It's not needless to say, like I said earlier in the channel or episode, what are we doing, is that it won't be geared towards, you know, tinfoil hat conspiracies, or you know, you've taken this kind of medication, therefore you've got autism, all these different things I see out there. It's more of a case of saying, hey, look, if you think you've got it, if you've been diagnosed with it, if you want to be someone that wants to associate people with neurodivergence, you're more than welcome to jump on it. Like I'm saying, is that it's not necessarily exclusive to neurodivergent people, not exclusive to people that think they've got neurodivergence or traits, or exclusive to people that aren't and do not care about that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's pretty much going to be very lightly sprinkled in there, something to give back to the community, where people that I suppose feel a little bit left out, maybe a little bit lonely, a little bit disjointed, not necessarily fitting in, a place for them to resonate, come across, and we'll have a chat. We'll do a live stream, maybe at least once a fortnight, and talk and build from there. People can come and talk and engage, regardless of their way of life. But anyway, we'll leave it there. The octopus is probably beckoning for his lunch for some reason. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this juncture. Like I said, I do enjoy doing the reselling content, but I get a little bit bored of it, and the octopus agrees with it, in the sense that, you know, there's only so many things you can talk about. List more, list better quality stuff. Like, you know, list stuff that people want to buy. There you go, there's your reselling content down pat, and it just saved you $450. So let me know in the comment section below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye. Boop. Is the thing on? Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Minion J, and if you don't know who the Disgruntled Octopus is, I've got a feeling you may already do. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Minion J, and if you haven't worked out who the Disgruntled Octopus is, there's a good chance you're probably not going to.